He said what?
Harry and Meghan are leaving the palace to become financially independent. And you see, this is what happens when you bring the first black woman into the royal family. Yeah, she looked at Harry and she's like, "Nigga, you need to get a job. You a grown-ass man. You can't still be living in your mama's house, Harry."
Have you ever seen that video?
No.
Pull that video up, because it's one of my favorite.
No more following Granny's rules. Don't wear your pants on your head, Harry. Don't bath on the butler, Harry. If I want to play polo in my living room, who's gonna stop me?
Stop that.
Right away, Megs.
The night Trevor Noah aimed his jokes at Meghan Markle, it did not feel like just another late-night comedy bit. Instead, it came across more like she was being put on trial in front of everyone. You could hear it clearly in the way the audience laughed. It was not the kind of gentle, polite laugh people give when the joke is harmless. It was the sharper kind, the uneasy laugh people make when they realize the truth is being exposed right there in the spotlight.
Harry and Meghan are losing their titles? That's the most embarrassing royal loss since William's hairline.
Noah did not just come out and tell a few silly jokes about the royal family's Netflix show. Instead, he went at it like a serious questioning, using timing so sharp it cut like a knife, and speaking with a worldwide view that no British or American comedian could really pull off.
It was announced that Harry and Meghan can no longer describe themselves as royal. And I won't lie, if I was Harry and Meghan, I'll be like, fine, then we'll be known as Royale.
For years, Meghan had managed to paint her critics as nothing more than bitter, jealous, or even straight up hateful. But now there was a famous comedian who was also an immigrant like her, tearing right through that protection. He was not just making little jokes. He was breaking down her public image piece by piece, showing every contradiction and double standard she had tried to hide behind polished interviews and perfectly edited Instagram posts. And when the camera caught Noah's sly grin slipping out between his punchlines, you could feel the whole mood in the room change. This moment was not only about getting laughs, it was about opening people's eyes. And once they saw it, there was no way they could forget it.
I do have to admit this, right? I always find it weird when people introduce a new baby. Because if you think about it, there's such a big contrast between the end product and how it was made. The result of our sweaty night of just raw dogging, #blessed.
Noah started his takedown with a move Meghan's PR team likely never imagined. He went after her on the very subject she thought she had already mastered: race. Most comedians step carefully around that topic, but Noah, with his South African roots and real-life experience dealing with racial identity across different countries, came in hard. He called out the hidden language floating around in Meghan's media coverage, then turned it around, joking about how she twisted those same stories to her advantage whenever it worked best for her.
The question is, if Harry and Meghan come to America, where are they going to live? Everyone wants to know. I think they'll move to LA because Meghan is an actor, and then she's going to want to work again, and then Harry can just join the cast of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Yeah, just be like fighting on TV. I know what you said about me, Denise. Say it to my face.
He went after her marriage like it was a lesson to be picked apart, breaking down the so-called modern fairy tale by showing Harry as a prince without a job, struggling to stay important, and Meghan as the ultimate Hollywood social climber who just happened to climb her way into a royal palace. The highlight came when Noah joked about Harry trying to land cartoon voiceover jobs at big industry parties while Meghan smoothly moved around, working the crowd to her advantage.
Funny is that no matter what job Prince Harry gets, you realize he's still going to be Prince Harry, right? Can you imagine being his boss when he screws up? Like, what do you call him in and say? Prince Harry, get in here, your majesty. You blew the Henderson account, my lord. Clean out your desk and may God save the queen.
The picture he painted was not just funny, it was embarrassing. It showed the couple not as poor victims of a harsh royal system, but as two overly confident stars desperately trying to hold on to fame. In less than 3 minutes, Noah had flipped Meghan's carefully polished image as a global humanitarian into a joke so sharp that even the studio band was laughing between their tunes.
Jordan is a 12-time Emmy winner and the host of The Late Late Show. He's also living proof that a man can move from London to LA and not tell everyone about his frostbitten penis.
And this was only the first hit. The real knockout punches were still on the way. Once Trevor Noah set things off, every American comedian seemed to sense weakness. Late-night hosts, big podcasters, sketch shows, all of them jumped in to take their turn, and none of them bothered with soft little royal jokes. Conan O'Brien went totally wild, using the story about Harry and Meghan's wax figures being taken out of Madame Tussauds to create a crazy bit about where they might be placed next. And the final joke landed them somewhere much less fancy than any royal palace.
This is sweet. Meghan Markle said she has a finger they can use if they need it.
Saturday Night Live made Meghan and Harry into a running gag, with Mikey Day's silly version of Prince Harry stumbling his way through talk shows, while other cast members made fun of Suits like it was a boring old show nobody wanted to see anymore. Meghan had pushed the world to sit through it.
She used to be on Deal or No Deal. Look, she was on Deal or No Deal.
Yeah, that's right.
And then the wife convinces you to leave the royal family. Like, I'm out. I don't need you guys. Which is crazy, because don't you just get free money?
Joe Rogan did not even bother with a planned routine. He turned his real-life feud with Harry into comedy, telling how his first reaction when he heard Harry criticize him was not anger, but actually wondering if the prince might have a point before roasting him anyway. By the time the week ended, Meghan's name had gone from being a headline to being the punchline in America's biggest comedy shows. And here was the real damage. These were not just random jokes. They turned into running bits built into sketches, monologues, and viral clips. Meghan had not just been teased. She had been added to the permanent lineup of celebrity clowns that America loves to laugh at again and again. If American comedians tease Meghan with light jokes and celebrity-style humor, the British comics came in like they were carrying bayonets. These were not just jokes. They were sharp takedowns from people who had grown up with the monarchy and were not scared to hit hard. Andrew Schultz did not bother pretending he cared at all. He brushed Harry and Meghan off completely with a line so harsh that the audience gasped first before bursting into laughter.
This sincerely, Prince Harry and Meghan, we don't give a America don't give a about you.
Mickey Glazer came at it from another angle, creating a painfully clear what-if world where Meghan was still stuck in middle-level Hollywood, scrambling for tiny background parts instead of chasing royal titles.
She wants to be famous. She found the guy to make her the most famous in the world, and now she's over there and she's like, if she didn't marry him, she would be on The Bachelor this season. She would be Megan M. from Sherman Oaks barista. She just got lucky.
Then came Simon Brodkin, who was known for mocking famous people right to their faces. He ripped into their Netflix documentary with a one-line summary so cold, it made the whole project look like nothing but a vanity show. I watched the Harry and Meghan Netflix documentary. Before I watched it, I was not a fan of theirs. I hate them. But the harshest hits came from satire that did not even need a live audience. The animated series, The Prince, showed Meghan as fame-obsessed and Harry as a man lost with no real purpose, making their royal exit look like nothing more than a career strategy. What the N is going on with Harry? How dare you? I'll say whatever I want. You're in my house now. You want a piece of me? I will f*** you up, girly. The focus is starting to shift off of me. In the UK, people did not see this as some sad love story gone wrong. They saw it as a big PR stunt that completely failed. And unlike the American comics who moved on, the British comedians kept coming back again and again, recycling every new Sussex interview, every Netflix scene, every podcast clip into another joke. The message was clear. In the UK, Meghan was not just a celebrity, she had become a national sport. Careful, Harry, I spilled some essential oils on the floor. When Britain's legendary puppet show, Spitting Image, took aim at Meghan and Harry, it was not just another roast. It felt like character assassination with puppets. Meghan's puppet was drawn with over-the-top glamour and a constant smirk, always plotting her next publicity stunt. Harry's puppet was shown as a clueless man-child, so spoiled that he even needed a butler just to hand him a remote. Hey, it's the husband formerly known as Prince. Any luck getting a job? They have me driving for Uber Eats, but there were too many damned rules. Don't touch the food, don't taste the food, drive on the road. I'm sorry, Rowdy Y. In one sketch, the two dreamed up new projects that looked more like cheesy late-night infomercial scams than royal work, poking fun at their Netflix deal as nothing but a quick money grab. Even Meghan's wellness brand was not safe. Meghan, this new Netflix show I'm producing for you is going to be huge. Tell Eldon all about it. It's about a beautiful young swan, but no one treats her like the beautiful swan she is until season 2, when everyone apologizes to her. Another scene had her promoting gross smoothies so disgusting, the other puppets gagged right on camera. The brilliance of Spitting Image was that it said things real comedians would not dare, hiding savage social criticism behind silly-looking puppets. It did not just poke fun at their riches, it went after the gap between their speeches about struggle and their actual lives filled with mansions, private jets, and famous friends. For viewers, those puppets showed a truth no PR statement could erase, that Meghan and Harry's life after the royals was so easy to parody it almost wrote itself. And unlike a late-night joke that disappears in a day, these puppet clips stayed online, pulling millions of views, burning their cartoon versions into pop culture like a stain that never washed out. So, Pads, tell me, everyone knows you're the bear who likes to share. What's the secret to your eternal personal glow? Well, Harry, I'm glad you asked me that. As you know, I'm a huge fan of South American product. Is it Colombian? No, 100% Peruvian, biodynamic, organic, catastrophic. Yes, I've tried it and the results were incredible. If British comedy had been cruel so far, Jimmy Carr's joke was the moment things shifted from sharp teasing to full-blown controversy. Famous for pushing limits, Carr walked onto the stage with the kind of confidence that showed he knew exactly how far he was going and that he was not turning back. The setup was quick and sharp, leaving Meghan and Harry no space to hide behind complicated excuses. But the punchline hit like a scandal. Carr tapped into a fear buried deep in the British public, tying it to the royal line of succession in a way that made the crowd roar and then freeze, realizing just how close it came to the bone. I said, Meghan Markle is of course a lifelong feminist, which she's demonstrated by marrying a prince and giving up her job. The card she's playing is I'm a victim, and you go, no, you're not a victim. Online, the clips spread like fire, instantly dividing people. Supporters said it was just dark comedy doing its job. Critics said it was reckless, maybe even dangerous to put that thought in people's heads. The backlash came fast, with articles, radio shows, and TV debates fighting over it. And here was the twist. The outrage only made the joke bigger. It was no longer a throwaway line. It became the one too far moment in the Meghan and Harry roast timeline. I said H was H was at the H, has been H, and H called me with H, and H was outin' with H. It was the red line, proving that comedians were not just laughing at them for fun, but because they had become a cultural flashpoint everyone wanted to weigh in on. By the time the professional comics were done, the internet did not just join the roast, it completely took it over. TikTok, YouTube, and Twitter turned into non-stop roast arenas where clips of Meghan and Harry were cut, remixed, and turned into brutal short parodies. Opportunity is everything. The spark came from one awkward moment in Meghan's Netflix series when she corrected actress Mindy Kaling on her name. It was so quick you could almost miss it, but creators slowed it down, replayed it, and added captions until it was everywhere. Suddenly, that tiny clip turned into a meme template for overcorrecting, with Meghan's face dropped into every situation possible. My name is Meghan Sussex now. Call me Meghan Markle one more time, Mindy Kaling. Then came the parody cooking videos mocking her polished lifestyle segments. Perfectly clean kitchens, designer aprons, and tips so silly they already felt like a joke. One viral skit showed a Meghan lookalike giving advice on living cheaply while sipping champagne in a mansion-sized living room. Have you ever seen that video? No, pull that video up because it's one of my favorite trick that people do with pineapple, instead of just cutting it to make the perfect little bite, you follow the wedge. When nature has given you all the cues on how to have a perfect taste of something, how fun is that? I love it. I like working hard. This woman was being paid millions just to show how to cut a pineapple. Even fan-made music videos popped up, remixing her interviews into auto-tuned dance tracks with titles like Royal Reality Check. The key difference now was that these were not professionals with reputations to protect. They were anonymous, worldwide, and endless. Every new Sussex appearance became raw material. The couple's story was no longer theirs to control, and the internet's humor was far meaner than any comedy stage. By this point, the roast was no longer just a pop culture moment. It was a full-blown online genre, and Meghan was its unwilling poster child. Beneath the laughs, memes, and late-night jokes, a more serious truth was taking shape, one that no PR spin could cover up. Let's watch that back. Why is she pushing apples into the salad? You're definitely a unique person. This is why the roast never ended, because it was not about one scandal or one mistake. It was about the huge mismatch between the story they tried to tell and the reality people actually saw. Once an audience spots that kind of gap, every move turns into new material. And in the age of social media, it is a trap you cannot escape, because the internet never lets a contradiction fade. It repeats it, captions it, and laughs at it forever. Do you see any of the real Diana and Meghan? Did you know? Really? No. Sorry. Wow. Trevor Noah may have fired the first shot, but what came after was a full-on cultural ambush. American comics, British satirists, puppet shows, and millions of online creators tearing apart Meghan and Harry's public image from every angle possible. And here's the part they cannot control. Once you become a running joke, every new interview, every staged picture, every genuine moment risks turning into the next viral punchline, the roast. The real problem is not only the jokes, it is that every punchline keeps pulling out a truth the Sussexes cannot erase. They built their story on contradictions, and comedy always manages to find every weak spot, which leads to the question they will have to face for years to come. Can you ever take back your story once the world decides it is funnier without you? If you want to see just how far this satire can stretch, including the exact moment Meghan was said to lose her temper over Spitting Image's harsh take, check out my previous video right here on A-Star Spotlight. Believe me, if you thought this was harsh, you have not seen anything yet.